this. That could have been a really good close. Yes, he did.
Good call with that low parry. Tries to go for another wall slap. Oh!
He's up against the wall. Gotta be careful. Brian is a monster.
Just what I was gonna say. He's gonna grab. Oh my gosh, splats him. Are we gonna see Titan?
Big missed opportunity there to close out the round. Oh, not going for any of these hits. There. Oh my goodness, gets funny.
Oh, tries for panic rage. Alright, 30 seconds left. There's a pressure.
Death Rage, what's gonna happen? The 10 string Rage Drive spread out.
The low side step lands is watching his legs. Oh!
Counter hit, dive kick, holy moly. Straight to the wall. Jim, what are you doing?
Gotta make the right guess. Wow.
Monarch goes for the key charge. Very risky. Oh, he got it.
The path to pro continues as we witness this historic day in the Nationals. Good afternoon sa ating lahat. My name is Eliza Taylor at welcome sa first ever draft of the Nationals. Mami-witness nga natin at makikita natin ang makasaysayang event na ito, and this is the very first draft of the league para sa ating Tekken Conference. Tekken 7 Conference to be exact, at first ever kung hindi ako nagkakamali sa buong Pilipinas dito sa ating esports. Now, after 3 weeks of tournaments and countless matches, these 12 players we have today will have a chance to join one of our franchise teams and be part of the Nationals Pro League. Pero bago magsimula ang lahat, syempre meron tayong mga magigiting na panelists na kasama natin ngayon. Nakikita nyo naman sa inyong mga screens who will help me break down on who these players are and their journey on their path to be pro so far. We have today Mr. Poch Spice. Hello, welcome to the show. And
Hello,
Mr.
Eliza.
Poro-kun, how are you doing right now?
Doing great. Very excited because you're correct, Eliza. Talagang historic makasaysayan tong moment na to, and I'm looking forward to how things will develop from here on out.
Definitely true. Although, yung mga players natin, even yung mga viewers natin, no, kung hindi pa rin sila familiar kung ano yung nangyayari sa The Nationals ngayon, and ano nga ba, bakit merong draft series na nagaganap, bakit may academy series, bakit may challenger series, at kung ano-ano pa. Pero basically, pag-usapan natin muna ito. Bakit nga ba importante itong draft series, and paano ba nito binibigyan yung mga future players natin, mga budding players natin, a clearer path to become a pro player? What do you think about this, Poch?
Well, to start off, the draft series is basically what we witnessed in the past 2 days was kind of a mock of the Pro League. It's really an exhibition, a showcase of the talent that was picked up in the Challenger series and Academy series. And you know what? It's kind of like the big stage before you can call yourself a pro, because this is the huge test for them before they make that big leap. And today, Eliza, we're gonna change lives. Like, someone's life is gonna be changed for good.
Makasaysayan nga, sabi nga natin, no? And kanina, actually guys, sa mga nanonood dyan, if you just knew what was happening behind the scenes, kaming tatlo, medyo kabado din kami para sa araw na to. Kasi literally, makasaysayan to. First ever sa Pilipinas, wala pa ako nakikita na esports na nagda-draft talaga. And this is the very first time here in the Nationals. And Tekken 7, kayo ang nabinyagan, guys.
Yes,
Tayo ang
exactly.
nabinyagan para sa draft series na ito. How about you, Poro? With all the changes in the league, in the Nationals as a whole tournament, what are your thoughts about this?
Well, considering yung mga lumang iterations ng Nationals talaga, I think this format is amazing just because it was able to shine a spotlight on some of the rising talents. Yung mga tipong hindi natin makikita in some of the competitive leagues. It opened a lot of doors talaga para makapasok yung mga potential talents that we are now actually seeing in among our draft players. So that is, for me, the best part of this new format.
Best part para sa inyo. And para sa akin naman din, ang nakikita ko nga dito is, I totally agree with the both of you na talagang binibigyan talaga yung ating mga players, yung mga budding players ng opportunity. Kasi pag may winners bracket and may losers pa, so there's a lot of chances. Tapos may academy series pa. Kung estudyante ka, you can join both, right? And with that, of course, the franchise teams natin, nakita na rin naman natin yung posted na yan sa The Nationals page natin kung sino ba yung mga players o yung professional players na kasama na sa isang team. And of course, we would not have the Nationals without the teams that make up for the league. These teams, along with their representatives, syempre, yung magpipili sa ating pool of draftees who have proven their worth and battled their way to get this far. Ito yung ating mga franchise teams, no? So we have SMO, SEO, and Signal Ultra Warriors, Happy Feet Emperors, Bren, E-Pro, and then we have LPE. Ito din, yung pagkakasunod-sunod ng ating draft order. So sila ang mga pagkakasunod-sunod ng pipili. Basically, SMO will be the first one to choose. And just talking about that as a whole, what do you think this entails doon sa mga franchise teams? Of course, may basis itong order ng ating pagpili, no? And if you get the first chance to pick, then that would be great for your team, for the side of Smart Omega right now. But looking at that, ano yung entitlement, or rather, what entails on the teams as a franchise team that we have right here to pick players from a whole pool of talent and a whole pool of pro players? Poch, how about you?
We were talking about this last night, me and Boru. We stayed up till, I don't know, like 1 a.m.
Yeah,
just doing the
1
math.
a.m.
Yeah, it was really tough. But as you mentioned, it's going to be Smart Omega that's going to be leading this dance, leading this pace. And Boru said it best. They'll be the ones dictating how this draft series is going to be played now, because 12 of these players are just waiting at the wings. Who's going to be picked first? And if I was the succeeding teams, you have to account for that, and so on and so forth. So it's going to be very interesting, Eliza.
Poro, meron na tayong mga players actually, no? Yung minention ko kanina na may isa na tayong professional player on this specific teams na meron tayo. And yung what I want to ask you is that meron bang bearing sa tingin mo yung mga pipiliin nila ng mga players from the draft pool na may potential on the synergy, o kaya naman titignan talaga nila yung mga players na to as their standings as a whole doon sa buong The Nationals tournament na pinuntahan nila o sinalihan nila? What do you think about that?
Well, I think magkakaroon talaga ng effect yung mga pipiliin nilang players kapag here in the draft draft day, simply because while they will be playing as individuals pagdating na dun sa tournament, right? Kanya-kanya laro din sila. At the end of the day, as teammates, they will be the one trying to bring each other up. Magtutulungan sila. They will try to push each other to greater heights. And that will be one of the biggest sources of growth for all of these players. And it will definitely benefit them if they can find somebody that will be able to fulfill that para dun sa team nila, kung saan sila nagkukulang, kung ano yung kailangan nila, and kung ano yung makakapaglabas ng tunay na potential between both of the players.
May gusto kong tanungin sa inyong dalawa na medyo nakatanungan.
Ito na naman, no!
Ito na naman. Siyempre ako yung panelist nyo, di ba? Alam nyo na kung ano nangyayari kapag ako ang nandito. So, Poch and Poru, kung kayo papapiliin, pipiliin nyo ba yung teammate nyo is, or gaya nga na sabi ni Poru, no? As a whole, kung maglalaro sila sa The Nationals as an individual player, di ba? As an individual player natin sila makikita. And speaking of individual player, babalikan ko kayo dyang dalawa.
Okay.
Pero ngayon, tignan muna natin yung mga draftees natin. Silipin muna natin sila. Bigyan ko muna kayo ng time mag-isip na ano kaya yung tatanong ni Eliza, no? Maya-maya lang. Tignan natin yung ating mga draftees sa ating liga ngayon. Force Liga ng mga kampiyon. Silipin natin muna para doon sa Smart Omega kung sino nga ba yung player na yan. Syempre, we have Jules. And looking for one. Yun yung masasabi. Looking for one player. And meron kayong hula eh. Meron kayong predictions dito sa inyong dalawa. For Poch, ikaw, sino ba ang sa tingin mo makakakuha or kukunin ng Smart Omega?
One resounding agreement we all had was Gold Standard might go to Smart Omega. Not only are you seeing you're seeing only one half of the Omega brothers there, which is Jules, but Pika as well is a big factor. And back in the community days, when I first was there, I was introduced to Jules, Pika, and Gold Standard. These guys run as a pack, and they have the synergy down pat. And I'm sure that they're considering Gold Standard.
That's true. And also, Poru, you also predicted gold standard going into SMO today. Yung predictions natin, guys, yung sa mga viewers natin, hindi to sure. So, kami lang to.
Ready to be wrong.
As your panelists, we are ready to be proven wrong as well. But these are the predictions of the professional casters and analysts that we have for today. Poru, is it the same reasoning as Poch as you have for SMO, picking gold standard for today?
Yeah, syempre sumagi din yung mga points ni Poch dun sa isip ko nung iniisip ko yung possible na pipiliin ng SMO. But I also picked gold standard simply because pumasok sa isip ko yung playstyle ni gold standard. We can see yung execution niya is there. He definitely has a great understanding of the game, and he manages to bring it out sa mga laban niya to great effect. If ever, SMO will be able to provide him with the knowledge kasi doon talaga malakas sila Jules and si Pika. They know the ins and outs of each character, pinag-aaralan talaga nila, and that will definitely help out gold standard. And at the same time, yung level of competition nila, they will be able to push each other just as I described earlier on.
Pushing each other to the limits para mas lumakas pa. Yun ang sabi ni Mr. Porukun. But moving forward, we have another franchise team that we have right here, which is SEO. Silipin natin kung sino ba yung player nila for SEO right now. It's Hapon. Okay, SDIE Olympians has Hapon right now. And your predictions, guys, if I take a look at it, we have for Poch, ang iniisip niya dito is Kunikat. And for Poru, we have Jet Mishima. Now, Poch, why do you think that they would pick Kunikat for today?
I have a feeling he had a strong showing in the Challenger Series 1. He set the pace. I would say Challenger Series 1 was the most untested. It was the first of its kind. So a lot of people came in there with really no expectations, and Kunikat was the one to set the bar there. He did kind of fall a little bit down the rankings when it came to the draft series, but it still showed that he was battle tested and ready. And also, I believe that Hapon and Kunikat ran in the same group before, so maybe that could hold for something. But I think Kunikat is, if he's not going to get picked up here, I think maybe some other teams are considering him.
Definitely true, no? There are a lot of players to be chosen from. 12 players to, and a lot to consider for the franchise teams that we have. About you, Poru naman, ang pinili mo or yung prediction is sa tingin mo kukunin nila si Jet Mishima. Why do you think so?
I think a lot of the teams talaga minamata na sa Jet Mishima after, of course, his spectacular performance yesterday. So, naipanalo niya yung Draft Series tournament, and even before that, naipanalo niya yung Challenger Series number 2. So, talagang lahat ng mga teams mag-uunahan kay Jet Mishima. And as the number 2 pick, SEO will definitely, will probably not pass on the chance. But other than that, I think there's just huge potential on Jet Mishima's part. So nakita na natin kung gaano siya kalakas, and Hapon, much like some of the other pro players out there, is very technical din, and will definitely give some depth pagdating sa gameplay ni Jet Mishima. So that might be something to watch out for.
Interesting. If pinagpipilian o pinipick out talaga si Jet Mishima knowing na nanalo siya sa mga tournaments natin with the Challenger Series and also yung kahapon natin na show match or yung exhibition match natin for the teams. Sa tingin ko, ipipredict ko siya pipiliin ng SMO. Para lang maiba. Para lang maiba.
A lot of people did say that too. They wanted to
right?
SMO. So you're not alone, Eliza.
That's my prediction. Okay,
There we
moving
go.
forward, let's go to the next franchise team that we have. We actually have Signal Ultra Warriors. CUW. Sino nga ba ang player nila? Vermilion, which is right now having the blonde hair. Tama ba? Yun yung kulay. No?
Super Saiyan hair, yep.
So, sino nga ba ang susunod na magiging blonde for Signal Ultra Warriors? Para sa inyong dalawa, ang inyong prediction ay si Machine Head for Poch, and para naman kay Poru as well, Machine Head din. Bakit si Machine Head ang inyong napili? Poch, ikaw muna.
Hey, Eliza, love is better the second time around, right? So the chemistry is there, the showing is there. Machine Head is a hot prospect here in the draft series. And I have a feeling like all these guys are looking at Machine Head, but I don't think he has the same chemistry he has with Vermilion. And I don't think the Ultra Warriors can pass up on that.
Interesting. Although doon sa sinabi mo kanina, I'm not quite sure. Pero anyway, Poru.
Oh, man. Sorry,
A bit
ba?
controversial but brave. Poru, ikaw, pinili mo rin si Machine Head. Is it the same reason as Poch na the second time around daw, parang mas sweeter daw?
Yeah, very similar. Actually, the second time around
Really?
might be sweeter, pero yung emphasis on the because considering yung performance ni Machine Head, we've seen the growth talaga compared to his performance back in the day. Talagang he has a few more characters as well, and he's a completely different player compared nung una natin siya nakita dito sa the Nationals. So picking up where they left off might be a good move for Signal Ultra Warriors, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's exactly what they did.
Oh, wow. Picking up where they left off. Yan ang sabi ni Poru at sabi naman ni Poch, the love is sweeter the second time around. No? Moving forward, we have another franchise team right here. It's actually Happy Feet Emperors. So, sino nga ba ang professional player nila for Happy Feet Emperors? We have Coffee Prince. Okay, Coffee Prince is right around the corner waiting sa kanyang makakasama. At based on your predictions, with Poch, he picked Don Argus and Poru as well. Don Argus ang inyong pinili. Why is that?
For me, I think that Coffee Prince has worked with Don Argus in the past, and his showing here in the draft series just puts in the hard work. And I was able to, in the interviews of Don Argus, he's a changed player. He has a different mindset. He's more focused, and he has improved a lot. So I have a feeling Coffee Prince wants to be able to get the band back together in that part. Just strike up that chemistry once again.
Strike up that chemistry once again. Poru, how about you? What's your reasoning behind picking Don Argus as your prediction?
Well, aside from the fact that they have some experience together as players, we've seen the growth then on Don Argus's side, right? He's been unstoppable dito sa draft series natin. And when we think about Coffee Prince, naalala ko talaga sa kanya yung mga clutch moments niya and clutch times niya kung saan naghahabol siya ng points, and then at the very end, somehow he manages to pull through. I think yung capability nilang dalawa to bring out yung latent potential nila at the most important moments will be great together, and mas madali nilang magagawa yun if they spend more time as a team.
Very well said. Pag sinabi ko Coffee Prince, ang naalala ko yung K-drama mostly. And then sumunod yung sinabi mo, Poru.
Okay.
No? So, importante din yun, yung sinabi mo, yung clutch potential ng mga players na ito. And with that, meron pa tayong susunod. Meron pa tayong isang franchise team that we have right here sa The Nationals. That's Bren E Pro. Silipin natin kung sino nga ba ang player ng Bren E Pro. We have Bren Maru right here, looking all smiley with the glasses even. So the predictions on your side, guys, para sa'yo, Poch, ang pinili mo is si Sidestep Lance. And then, kay Poru, ang prediction niya, ang pipiliin daw dito is si Jake. So this is a different predictions from the both of you. I want to know why you picked, why did you pick Sidestep Lance, Poch?
For me, I think it comes down to chemistry. The Brenny Pro Boys are very they're charming, they're very infectious. Sidestep Lance also is all that, and he showed really good potential here in the draft series. I think it's time to invest in Sidestep Lance, and I think Brenny Pro is going to do just that.
Time to invest on Sidestep Lance. You know, the players are listening right now as well. The teams, the franchise teams are listening to what you have to say, guys. Baka magbago pa yung isip nila. Baka sundin nila yung predictions niya. Ikaw, Poru, why did you pick Jake to be the chosen player for the side of Bren E Pro?
Yeah, I like yung point ni Poch. Even with Bren being the fun but fierce team that they are, definitely I think Sidestep Lance would be great. But at the same time, I'm looking at their player, si Maru, and the amount of flexibility that he has as a player. All right, marami siyang characters. He's able to adapt to different situations and different characters as well. And for a player like Jake, who has a lot of characters in his arsenal, talagang mabilis din siya mag-adapt. He will definitely learn a lot from Maru, and in that way, they will both be able to grow as that sort of multi-faced player na mahihirapan yung ibang mga teams na kalabanin.
I could see na yung mga predictions nyo, no? It is all kind of based doon sa chemistry na makukuha nila from the first or the professional player na kasama na doon sa ating team. Which is related sa tanong ko mamaya. Pero move forward muna tayo. For LPE, we have Laos Playbook Esports na meron ding professional player na on their side. And of course, we can see right now, AK standing 5, hindi ko alam yung height niya. Pero yan si AK, guys. And with Dojin as their coach.
Yes.
Yeah. As Dojin as their coach, so hindi na siya katabi ni AK ngayon, hindi na siya maglalaro muna for the Nationals. Your predictions, for Poch, you have Jet Mishima, and for you naman, Poru, you have Typhoon. Why did you pick Jet Mishima, Poch?
I picked Jet Mishima because I based my list on synergy, but then Laos Playbook Eagles right now have like the toughest spot because they're the last pick, right? And just eliminating everyone else that's in the list, you can't discount what Poru said about Jet Mishima. He is a seasoned player. He won the Challenger Series 2. He won the Draft Series. So that's nothing to overlook. And also his character pick of Lydia, I think that kind of got Dojin's attention.
You see, ito yung mga predictions ko mamaya, sasabihin ko sa inyo guys, no?
Alright.
Pero ikaw muna, Poru,
Okay.
why did you pick Typhoon to predict na mapupunta sa LPE o pipiliin ng LPE today?
Personally, I think magaling talagang player si Typhoon. Right? Nakita natin sa performance niya in the past few days.
Sure.
Among all the players na nasa draft series, para sa akin, I think he would be the perfect fit as a player, just because he's the type of player who would throw himself into the fire para matuto. Because I think yung level ni AK and ni Dojin, it's really high. They are some of the best players here in the country, and it would be hard to catch up with them or keep up with them. So we need somebody who would not shy away from just challenging the two of them and learning on his own kahit na ilang talo yung maranasan niya.
Good point.
Fierce, no? Fierce. Ganon din ako paraan natuto mag-swimming, no? Binato talaga ako sa tubig. And the end, ayun, 22 na ako, pero hindi pa rin ako marunong mag-swimming, guys. Pero ito yung mabilis kong prediction. Sa tingin ko, yung mga teams natin, yung franchise teams natin, susundin nila yung pagkakasunod-sunod nung nanalo doon sa exhibition match. Sa tingin ko may bearing talaga yun eh. Kasi parang, sabi mo nga, Poch, parang mock tournament na yun.
Right,
so
right.
lahat
That's
sila
good.
naglaban-laban, si Jet Mishima yung nanalo. Siya yung pinakamalakas. So I think SMO, siya yung pipiliin. And then second one is si Argus, Don Argus. I think he would go to SEO. And the
There
third
we
one
go.
is Sidestep Plants going to Signal Ultra Warriors. Fourth one, Typhoon going to Happy Feet Emperors. Para sa Bren E-Pro, I think it would be Machine Head. And then for LP, I'll say Gold Standard.
Oh,
Just to mess things
there
up.
we go. There we go.
Just to
Interesting.
spice things up for you guys.
It can happen. It can happen.
It's
Pwede.
possible. You see, pag magulat kayo kapag ako yung may pinakamaraming ma-predict dito. But
Yeah.
right now, guys, I think our commissioner for the Nationals have a quick message para sa ating lahat na nanonood. So, may I please call on Mr. Ren Vitug to tell us more about what's happening today.
Thank you, Eliza. Thank you as well, everyone, for being part of the inaugural draft of the Nationals. This is a big moment for Philippine esports. We believe our Path to Pro series will be an instrumental part in the birth of the new generation of local esports athletes, and our draft is a crucial and pivotal point in the Path to Pro. This is important because the purpose of our Path to Pro is to not just give players a chance to compete in a pro tournament. We already have a lot of open tournaments kasi, di ba? But what we are giving them is a chance for people to fulfill a dream. This chance has never been this tangible for esports. If you are in traditional professions, the idea is to go on school and get experience or go on workshops and seek coaches. If you are in sports, most of the athletes are produced via school varsity systems in sports clubs where skills are measurable and progression is available. Pero pag gusto mo mag-pro sa esports, what would you hear? Maglaro ka lang, keep grinding, go play rank, right? It's grasping at nothing, which is why, I truly believe that we are offering more than just a chance to compete in a pro tournament. What we are doing is extending the familiar grassroots open to all format into one where players will be drafted and will become pro. So, what do franchises look for in a draftee? Skill is a given, potential is also there, but now there are also other things that they are checking, like the attitude, social and communication skills, and so on. This is because the definition of a pro gamer is evolving. The expectations are growing. So, essentially, being a pro is being something and representing something bigger than just yourself. It is representing sponsors, organizations, people's dreams and aspirations, as cliche as that may sound, representing other players, and representing the sport itself. It is a big responsibility. And everyone who wants to be a pro should be building themselves towards being able to handle that responsibility. Personally, I think the journey of being a pro doesn't start when you get signed. It starts when you first get the desire of being one. It's on how you train, how you carry yourself, how you deal with other people. And then all of these things add up and build you up and shape up your career, whatever direction it might take you. So my message for esports dreamers is to aspire, work hard, and then make your way towards the dream. Being in the esports industry is very challenging, especially as a player. We've heard this a lot of times. And when you consider the number of people who want to be a pro and the actual number of pros, it really is a brutal sport and profession. Today, the 12 players are going to be closer to their goals. Out of more than 500 aspirants in our Challenger and Academy series, now there's 12 of them, and 6 will be on a pro team. The other 6 are blessed to be so near from being in one and would hopefully get a rejuvenated motivation. Whatever the case, it's going to be a pivotal point in their career, and we are happy and honored to be a part of it. I don't want to drag this on any longer. Good luck to all franchises and to all players who were able to make it into draft day. I'll see more of you later. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Ren Vitug, ang ating commissioner for the Nationals. You heard it from the man himself. Whew, guys. Ako yung kinakabahan, hindi naman ako yung
I'm more
maglalaro.
nervous. I'm more nervous.
Yeah,
Those are
it's
wise
natural.
words.
It's a natural feeling.
In transparency for the viewers who are watching right now, we have no idea, absolutely zero idea on who would be drafted today. So wala rin kaming idea dyan. So sa lahat ng nanonood right now, sa lahat ng nagko-comment at sa lahat ng may speed dyan, no? Speed lang. Sabihin nyo rin sa amin kung sino ba yung mga predictions nyo. Habang nagda-draft tayo, kasi tayong lahat dito, live nating nakikita kung ano yung nangyayari. And nababasa rin namin yung inyong mga comments. No? Nababasa namin yung inyong mga comments, guys. So, again, we are going back to the original topic that we have. So, we have this whole draft series. Yung sinasabi ko kanina na ano nga ba yung meron sa bakit may challengers, bakit may academy series, bakit may draft series pa, anong nangyayari sa The Nationals? Hindi ko maramdaman, hindi ko alam kung ano yung nangyayari. But of course, with that, magsisimula tayo dito sa mga players natin, na 12 players natin na ida-draft nga o magiging parte ng ating draft pool. And we're gonna talk about them. But as we talk about them, of course, we are gonna see kung ano nga ba yung mga pinagdaanan nila, yung kanilang road to pro or path to pro, papunta dito sa ating draft series for the Nationals. And almost, malapit na, just one step away. Isang hakbang na lang, papunta sa the Nationals Pro League. Silipin muna natin yung ating mga players. Starting off with Gold Standard on your screen, guys. Gold Standard. Looking at this, Poch and Poru, can you tell me more about this player para rin sa viewers natin? Poch, what's up with him?
It's time to invest in gold. You saw how he was able to use this layout to perfection in the draft series. A lot of players from the draft series were seeing him as huge competition, and I think the potential is still limitless for this player.
How about you, Poru?
Aside from the potential, we've seen naman talaga na he has the hunger to win, right? Nakailang series din siya. He joined multiple series before he made it into the draft series, and when he finally arrived here, pinakita niya talaga kung ano yung kaya niyang gawin, right? Leo became so fearsome, and he even brought out some interesting characters that will definitely be something to look forward to.
A lot of interesting, yun nga, for the characters that he's gonna use onto this one. And also, yung inyong prediction din na sa tingin nyo, SMO would pick him as well. But I think, hindi siya ang pipiliin ng SMO.
Exactly.
Sa tingin ko, itong susunod na player, yung pipiliin ng SMO. Silipin naman natin si Jet Mishima on your screen, guys, right now. You can see the picks, the win rate, as well the statistics. Don't lie para sa player na ito. Jet Mishima, kamusta yung run niya towards Challenger Series that we had dito sa The Nationals, Poch?
Yeah, he is the Lydia of the Nationals, right? He tore up the scene with this character, brought out the Akuma sometimes, but this was the character that got him so far. And his journey actually is not only here. I know he participated in Road to the Nationals. He's always present in tournaments, and now the spotlight is on Jet Mishima. And like Poru said, you cannot overlook this talent. And I think a lot of the franchise players have them on their lists.
And it's about time that he gets into the spotlight, considering yung skill level niya and yung understanding niya ng game. We can see with how he plays na talagang malakas siyang player, and I won't be surprised if napili siya agad.
Won't be surprised kung mapili siya agad. Ganun din ako kasi feeling ko siya ang unang
Exactly.
mapili.
Yes,
The prediction. I feel it in my guts. Moving on to the next player that we have para sa ating draft pool. Let's take a look at this next player. Silipin natin kung sino ba ito, and let's see it on your screens. While waiting for it, guys, I'm very excited for this one. We have Jik. 61% win rate. Let's see what you guys can say or talk about Jik. Poch.
It was brought up yesterday that he was seen as sort of the dark horse, but Don Argus commented right away, this is not a dark horse. He is a threat to be really noticed, because he showed us great characters, he showed us excellent movement, great fundamentals, and I've seen him in other tournaments as well, and he's still growing in his skill here in Tekken.
I was actually the one who called him a dark horse, and when it was brought to my attention kung ano yung talagang strengths ni Jake, especially yung movement niya, parang naliwanagan ako, parang nawala yung takip sa mata ko, and I realized that he definitely is a scary player. He has the potential talaga, and the capacity for growth as a player, but at the same time he is able to perform at such a high level immediately. He's the one who took out yung Challenger Series 1 champion na si Kunikat in yesterday's Draft Series tournament, so that should count for something.
Can you say na he would be the dark horse na pwede mapili dito, Poru and Poch?
I wouldn't be surprised if he got picked, because based on his performance yesterday and how much he's grown from Academy Series, I'm sure he's got the attention of a lot of these franchises.
A fair chance.
A fair chance, I would say. Okay, let's see the next player. We have Jason. So silipin naman natin yung kanyang statistics, yung kanyang player profile, the 74% win rate, 67% armor king and king. Kunimitsu. What can you say about this player, Poch?
Hey, he's one of the kings here in the Nationals. He is Nationals battle tested, tried and true. He was with the Omega Brothers back in season 1, and it just shows that he was able to develop and hone his skills. And I think the hunger is it's not just there; it's doubled, Eliza.
Ooh, it's doubled. Interesting. How about you, Poru?
Yeah, it's doubled, and and it shows like he's put into some interesting situations every time that he plays. And even though minsan mababa yung chance na mag-succeed siya dun sa gusto niyang gawin, he's the type to go for it. And I think that's a good trait for a pro player, yung willing siyang subukan yung magpapanalo sa kanya. Because if they shy away, that's not a good sign. And that courage is something that makes Jason a strong pick for these teams.
Minsan yung mga franchise team, no, yung gusto nilang kuhanin din, yung may mga guts, kumbaga, na parang kayang tapatan na matapang na kahit anong adversity o kahit anong pwede nilang kalabanin, gagawin nila ang kanilang the best. Pero right now, let's move forward to our next draftee. We have here Kurikat. Silipin natin yung kanyang player profile looking at the screens right now. Unexpected win from him from before. What can you say about this? Poro muna this time around.
He is a name that I haven't seen in a long time. Pero ngayong nagpakita siya in the spotlight, he just blew the door wide open, and it's such an insane thing nung nagpakita siya dun sa una nating Challenger Series. He completely dominated the competition, not even dropping to the lower part, and continued to perform perfectly. Even though isa siya sa mga unang na-eliminate in the Draft Series tournament, we can see that he is definitely a threat pagdating sa ibang mga players na makakasali kung sakali.
Definitely a threat. How about you, Poch?
Yeah, he was definitely under the radar when we started Challenger Series 1, and once he won, like Poru said, everyone started to take notice and put respect to his name. So I think that overlooking him would not happen in this draft, because he is definitely one of the prospects here to look at.
Definitely, for sure. Hindi dapat to yung dadaanan lang. Yung, kumbaga, pag tinignan mo yung listahan, mapapansin at mapapansin mo siya. Moving forward to our next player, silipin na natin yan. Let it show onto your screens who our next player is. And we have here for today, let's see, let's wait for it. Here we go for Levi. Is it Levi or Levi?
He said either.
He said either.
Yeah,
the duality. Okay, let's talk about this. Kanyang picks, King and Master Raven. Moru, you can start this off.
Yeah, he's a really seasoned player, one of the notable kings in Metro Manila, and it showed na gamay na gamay niya talaga yung character niya. He fights really well despite the different situations, and hindi siya yung type na nag-give up talaga. And with his knowledge on the character, he's made some amazing things happen during the past few days in the draft series.
Right.
How about you, Poch?
And also something to mention is what we're seeing on screen now. He has a Master Raven. A seasoned king that has a pocket Master Raven is definitely a threat in this competition. And I believe when the draftees or the contenders for the draft series were being interviewed, a lot of them said that Levy was the biggest competition for them.
Ooh, interesting That's very interesting. Now, let's play a game, guys. Since ngayon ko lang naisip ng larong to. Ngayon ko lang siya naisip. Ano ba ang babagay na franchise team name sa harap ni Levi? Poch?
Name? Like jeans?
Like
I don't
SMO?
know.
SMO? SEO ba? CUW? HFE ba?
I'm gonna say SMO because shoutouts to Coach Pika. Both those characters entice him
Ah,
already.
yeah.
Master Raven and a king. So
Oh,
maybe SMO.
yeah. SMO,
If he
ikaw,
wants
Poru.
Interesting question.
Yeah, I was like, who would pick him up?
Yeah, when it comes to this sort of situation, I would actually think that he would somehow fit in SEO.
SEO.
Yeah,
SEO
STIE
Levi.
Olympics. Yeah,
Sounds okay. Sounds
because-
good to me.
yeah, Hapon would definitely be able to make him grow as a player, and I think they would have good chemistry. Those two.
Good
Gotcha.
chemistry, always. Yan yung simula kanina pa kung bakit, tinatanong ko kayo kung bakit ito yung madadraft. Good chemistry, let's see. Anyway, let's move forward to the next draftee that we have. We have Machine Head this time around. Silipin natin yung statistics ng players na ito. We have 76% win rate. Alisa, Hakum Ram, and Akuma picks. What are your thoughts about this? Poch?
He is the newer model. It's Machine Head 2.0. We saw him in Season 1, and he came back with a vengeance here. He tore through the competition, and I know that a lot was expected of him coming into this draft series, and a lot was expected of him in the Challenger series, but he exceeded those expectations and blew off the roof, and I think he's definitely a hot prospect for everyone to look at.
And he definitely grew, and talagang updated na nga talaga yung firmware ni Machine Head, and nakita naman natin considering how much he's changed from his characters to his gameplay, and really surprised when he brought out the Akuma and stuck with it throughout the whole thing. It's like he's trying something new, scheming something for the upcoming matches kung makapasok man siya, and it would be interesting to see what he's up to.
Interesting to see what he's up to. And moving to the next draftee that we have here for today, we have SSL. Silipin
Sidestep
natin
Lance. There
kung
we go.
anong meron kay Sidestep Lance here. Poch, can you walk us through?
I'll say he's excellence personified. His character choices, the Lee, the Violet, there's one character, but no one really picks Lee in high level, and this guy is doing it and doing it in style. And the way he just tore through the competition surprised me as well. He went under my radar as one of the prospects here. And now I learned my lesson. It's
Nandito
time
na
to...
siya sa predictions mo ngayon.
Exactly. I learned my lesson. We got to look at Sidestep Lance, you guys. It's time to invest.
Time to invest. How about you, Poru?
Personally, yeah, I'm actually a fan of Sidestep Lance. Even though wala siya dun sa picks ko, I just had a hard time figuring out kung saang team siya mag-fit. Pero if he does get picked, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think it would be a tall tale kung napili nga siya. Pero at the same time, I believe that there's always space in the Nationals for a character loyalist like Sidestep Lance. Because yung mga ganong klaseng players, yung mga stick to one lang talaga, yeah, there are definitely formidable opponents in high level.
The trust, no? Stick to one lang talaga. And gaya nga ng sabi mo, Poru, and also, of course, Poch, with this player that we have right here, of course, we are gonna see, or sometimes expect even, na madadraft sila para sa ating mga teams dito. And just for a quick note sa mga nanonood, sa mga viewers natin dyan, we have 12 players. Ilan lang yung i-draft natin? It's just 6, right? 6. So, 6 na players ang mamamaalam sa bahay ni Kuya. Hindi to PBB. Pero next. Ito na. Pero ito just keeping it light para sa mga viewers natin na nanonood dyan. Syempre, it's sad not to see the half go. But of course, we should be happy that 6 players will be achieving their dreams today, right? So next up, next draftee that we have is Tomohiro. So silipin natin what we have on this guy. And we've seen yung video niya kahapon sa intro ng The Nationals. Walk us through here, Poru, this time around.
He is one of the kings. Marami tayong kings actually dun sa draft series natin. And out of all of them, I think he's the one who shined the most, right? Jason was great, Levi was great, but Tomohiro was the one who surprised us the most. He's not exactly the most well-known in the competitive scene, and he didn't even come from Tekken. Hindi siya legacy player. Hindi niya nalaro yung mga ibang games. He came from a completely different game genre, FPS, and then he just learned Tekken and got into it, and he's showed fantastic results throughout his whole journey.
Ooh, it makes me want to go into Tekken more, no?
There we go.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
No, just kidding. No, I don't want to, just give chance to the draftees for today.
Sure.
I'm just kidding, guys. I'm not good at Tekken, but, I mean, natalo ko si Poch, natalo ko si Poru one time.
I know.
So
We
I
don't
guess,
talk about that.
yeah, we don't talk about it. Never mind, it never happened.
Never
Next
happened.
up, next draftee that we have for today, we have Typhoon, which is, sabi ni Poru kanina, mapupunta daw sa LPE. What do we have here for Typhoon, Poch?
Well, I've had him as in my prospect list since day one because he's a known player and he really lives up to his name. That is a force to be reckoned with. You can't sleep on Typhoon. He is definitely a wild card in the tournament, and he has notable wins with some of these players as well as some of the franchise players. So him going to LPE, even though he's not in my predictions, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets drafted to either to LPE or any other franchise.
How you, Poru?
Yeah, among the players in the competition, I think he's one of the most passionate in such a way na talagang kapit yung feelings niya kapag naglalaro siya, right? When he loses, he is the most devastated. When he wins, he is the happiest as well. And that sort of passion is something that would be beneficial at sa kahit anong player naman na pwedeng pumasok dito sa The Nationals.
You see, passion drives a lot of things, no, para sa mga players natin. Especially yung mga times na laging, kunwari, pag sumasali ng tournament, especially kakastart mo lang sumali ng tournament, lagi ka natatalo. It drives you down eh. Pero if you're passionate about it, you just keep moving forward. You just keep going and you just keep joining hanggang makarating sa draft series, hanggang makarating sa draft pool. Kaya sumali na kayo sa The Nationals. Lahat
There we
posible
go.
dito. Moving on, we have our next draftee for today, we have Don Argus. Kilala na natin tong pangalan na ito sa The Nationals. Nakita na rin natin. Ano pa ba ang mapapag-usapan natin with this guy right here? Poch?
Speaking of passion, as Bora mentioned, Don Argus, one of the most passionate players as well. He's been posting videos of his reactions and his how he's handled the tournament, and you can't help but just love the guy, and just you see the hard work he's put in this challenger and draft series, and the improvements being made by him is still ongoing. So he is definitely improving, and he's definitely a prospect to really witness.
Poru.
And not just that din, no? He's one of the longest time na naglalaro ng Tekken. He is definitely representing the older generation when it comes to the game. So he's waving the banner basically that says, kaya pa namin lumaban, kaya pa namin makipagsabayan. And yung experience niya and yung drive niya to show what he's made of is going to be a threat.
A big threat para sa lahat ng mga draftees din dito. Syempre, of course, the name sounds familiar already. Sabi nga nila sa isang mga TV shows dyan, your name sounds familiar. Pero right now, we have a lot of players to go through pa. And makikita rin natin yung mga potential ng mga players na to. Nakita rin naman natin sa exhibition match yan. That's why we have more players for the draftees. And next up nga dyan, ICN Drax. So silipin natin kung anong meron sa player na to. I-release ang player card na yan. And Drax with 64% win rate, Ganryu and Brian picks. Poru.
Very surprising nung nakita natin siya lumaban dito sa the Nationals. Top tier execution with this character. You know, Brian Fury is not an easy character to use. Mukhang simple yung mga galaw niya. Execution niya is also sort of simple, but at the same time, making him effective at a high level is a feat to behold.
And switching gears from old school to new school, I think in the interview he did, Andrax started playing in Season 2 of Tekken 7.
That's pretty new.
So he's one of the new bloods here, and he's repping the Brian, #Barangay Brian out there. So he's really waving that flag. And like he said it also in his interview, he can't wait to be battle tested. He wants to go up against the best of the best. And yeah, the potential is all there.
Everyone just wanna go the best of the best. Gusto nilang kalabanin lahat. Di ba? Para magpakita ang gilas talaga. Kasi ito na yun eh. Ito na yung chance mo. Path to pro nga. And maraming kasunod yan. Yung pagiging drafted dito sa ating draft pool. Which is i-explain din natin maya-maya. Nakikita nyo naman yung mga players natin. Was that the last player that we are gonna go through?
I think it is. I think it
Wow!
was.
Yeah!
Oh, nakikita natin yung mga players natin live on your screen. Ngayon lang natin to nakikita din. And sa tingin ko, kinakabahan sila ng kaunti. Nag-hello lang naman sila. At sino yung mukhang pinakakabado doon sa lahat ng nakita nating players? Napansin nyo ba?
I noticed Jason looks the sharpest. He's
Oh.
He's like one of us. He's a
He was
commentator.
ready.
So
Yeah.
he's ready.
Yeah,
Commentator.
Professional.
Yung mga viewers natin, commentator din yan. Kasi nagko-comment sila eh, di ba? So,
That's true.
Tayo,
That's true.
panelists tayo, yung mga viewers natin, commentator, i-share nyo na yung live stream natin para
There we
lahat
go.
tayo masaya. And of course, live reaction pa yan. With live